Tips to improve your English pronunciation. Pause the video to repeat phrases or words. Record your voice and compare it with the video. Actively listen, identifying familiar words or phrases. This year, I felt a strong desire to take a real summer trip. My routine had become tiring, and I wanted a break from the same days and the same places. I didn't need anything fancy or expensive, just a chance to relax somewhere new. So I opened my laptop one afternoon and began searching for simple and affordable destinations. I told myself that even a small trip could bring me new energy and a fresh start. At first, I felt overwhelmed by how many places appeared online. There were beaches, mountains, small towns, and even big cities with budget hotels. I looked at each option carefully, trying to imagine myself there. Some places looked beautiful, but the prices were too high. Others were cheap, but the photos didn't inspire me. I wanted a place that felt peaceful, comfortable, and within my budget. Still, the more I searched, the more I believed I would eventually find the right spot. After an hour, I started narrowing down my list. I focused on places not too far from home, where travel costs would stay low. I also looked for hotels close to public transportation, so I wouldn't need to rent a car. My goal was simple: find a destination that made me excited to pack my bags. I bookmarked a few places that caught my eye, mostly small hotels near the coast. The idea of warm sun, soft waves, and quiet evenings made me smile. As I looked closer at the hotels I had saved, one of them stood out more than the rest. It had bright, modern rooms and a friendly description written by the staff. The photos showed a clean pool, a calm beach nearby, and a small cafe where guests could eat breakfast outside. Best of all, the prices were low compared to other options. It seemed almost too perfect for what I needed. I felt a little spark of excitement, and for the first time that day, I could picture myself truly enjoying the summer. Still, there was one problem. I didn't know if the hotel had rooms available during the dates I wanted. Summer was a busy season, and I didn't want to get my hopes up. So I decided to take the next step. I opened my email and started writing a message to the hotel, asking kindly about availability and prices. As I typed, I felt nervous but hopeful. Planning a trip was always a little stressful, but now it also felt promising. I hit send, hoping this would be the beginning of a much-needed adventure. After searching for hours, I finally found a hotel that immediately caught my attention. It looked bright, modern, and welcoming in every photo. The building had soft colors and large windows that made the rooms feel open and relaxing. There was a garden full of green plants, and a few tables where guests could sit outside and enjoy the sunshine. The whole place seemed simple but charming, exactly the type of atmosphere I wanted for my summer trip. I studied every picture carefully, imagining myself walking through the halls or sitting by the pool with a cool drink. The reviews were positive, too. Many guests wrote that the staff was friendly and the rooms were kept very clean. Others mentioned the hotel was close to the beach, only a short walk away. The idea of waking up, stepping outside, and hearing the waves filled me with excitement. It felt like the perfect escape from my usual routine. But then reality hit me. I didn't know if they had any available rooms at all. Summer was approaching fast, and most hotels were already filling up. The website showed their general prices but didn't display open dates for the time I wanted. That uncertainty made my stomach tighten a little. I didn't want to fall in love with a place only to discover it was fully booked. Still, something told me I needed to try. This hotel felt right in a way the others didn't. I scrolled through the site again, looking for any hint of availability. I checked each tab twice. I even refreshed the page, hoping something new might appear, but nothing changed. There was only one option left: contact them directly. The thought made me nervous for a moment. I wasn't used to writing emails to hotels, and I worried I might forget an important detail. But if I didn't ask, I would never know. And I didn't want someone else to take the last room if one existed. So I copied their email address and opened a new message. I wrote slowly, making sure my words were polite and clear. I asked about prices, dates, and any special offers they might have for summer guests. When I finished, I read the message twice, breathed deeply, and clicked send. At that moment, I felt a strange mix of hope and anxiety. I had found what seemed like the perfect hotel. Now I just needed to discover whether there was still a place for me there. When I sat down to write the email to the hotel, I felt more nervous than I expected. My hands were a little shaky as I opened a new message on my laptop. I wanted the email to sound friendly, but also clear and polite. English is not my first language, so I worried about making mistakes. Still, I knew this was the only way to find out if the hotel had rooms for my summer dates. I started by introducing myself and explaining that I was planning a trip in the summer. Then, I asked if they had any rooms available during the week I wanted to visit. I also asked about the prices, because I needed to stay within my budget. I kept the sentences short and simple to make sure everything was easy to understand. Even so, I read each line several times before moving on to the next. I wanted to be sure the email made sense. As I wrote, I imagined someone at the hotel reading my message and deciding if they should help me. The thought made me even more anxious. What if my email sounded strange? What if they thought I was confused or not serious about booking? I reminded myself that hotels receive messages like this every day. They were used to answering questions from travelers. That gave me a little confidence, just enough to keep going. When I finished the email, I read it again slowly. I corrected a few small mistakes and added a polite thank you at the end. My message was simple, but I felt proud of it. It showed exactly what I needed: prices, dates, and availability. I took a deep breath and moved the mouse toward the send button. For a moment, I hesitated, thinking maybe I should rewrite everything. But I knew I would only make myself more nervous. Finally, I clicked send, and the message disappeared into the digital world. A strange feeling washed over me, half relief, half worry. I had done my part, and now all I could do was wait. I closed my laptop and tried to distract myself, but my mind kept returning to the hotel. Would they answer soon? Would the price be good? Would there even be any rooms left for summer? I didn't know, but I hoped the reply, whenever it came, would bring me one step closer to starting my trip. A few hours after sending my email, I checked my phone just to pass the time. I wasn't expecting anything important, but then I saw a new message in my inbox. My heart jumped when I read the sender's name, the hotel. I couldn't believe they had answered so quickly. I opened the email right away, feeling a mix of excitement and nervous energy. It was surprising to receive a reply before the end of the day. The message began with a warm greeting, which made me feel comfortable immediately. The hotel staff thanked me for my interest and said they were happy to help me plan my summer trip. Then came the most important part. They actually had rooms available for the exact dates I wanted. I read that line twice to make sure I understood it correctly. It felt like luck was finally on my side, and I smiled without even noticing. As I continued reading, the message got even better. The hotel offered me a special summer price that was cheaper than what I had seen online. They explained that the offer included breakfast, access to the pool, and even a small discount for local activities. I wasn't expecting anything like that. The price was so good that for a moment, I wondered if I was reading it wrong. But everything was clear and easy to understand. It felt like the perfect opportunity. The email also invited me to ask more questions if I needed help. The tone was friendly, and the staff sounded genuinely happy to welcome me. That made me feel important as a guest, even though I hadn't booked anything yet. I read the email again slowly, enjoying every detail. A heavy weight lifted off my shoulders because all my worries about availability and price were gone. Instead of stress, I felt excitement spreading through me. When I finally closed the message, I sat back and took a deep breath. I still couldn't believe they had replied so fast, and with such a great offer. It felt like the trip I had only imagined was now becoming real. Of course, I still needed to make a decision, but everything seemed to be moving in the right direction. For the first time in days, I felt confident. I knew that answering this email could be the start of a wonderful summer adventure. I tried to calm myself, but the doubt grew stronger. Why would a nice hotel offer such a big discount in the middle of summer? I asked myself. Most places get full during that season and charge even more. I worried that maybe the photos online were old or edited to look better. Or maybe the good reviews were fake. Ideas like these filled my mind one by one. I didn't want to end up in a bad place far from home. The fear of making a mistake made my excitement fade a little. To clear my mind, I opened my laptop again and searched for more information about the hotel. I checked different websites, read comments from other guests, and even looked for videos. Everything I found seemed real and positive, but the doubt still lingered. Sometimes, when something feels too easy, I question it. I think many people do. I wanted this trip to be relaxing, not stressful, so I needed to be sure before agreeing to anything. My heart told me to trust the email, but my mind wanted more proof. I decided to read the hotel's message one more time, slowly and carefully. The tone was friendly, and the details seemed clear. They even invited me to ask more questions. That part made me feel a little better because scammers usually avoid communication. Still, I couldn't stop thinking about everything that could go wrong. I imagined arriving at the hotel and discovering there was no reservation or that the price had changed. My imagination wasn't helping at all. After sitting with my thoughts for a while, I realized I needed to ask the hotel a few follow-up questions. That was the only way to feel confident. The offer might be real, or it might not, but I didn't want to decide based on fear alone. I took a deep breath and opened a new email. My fingers hovered over the keyboard as I tried to think of the right words. I didn't want to sound suspicious, but I also needed clarity. With a mix of doubt and hope, I prepared to ask for more information, hoping it would guide me toward the right choice. Before I even finished writing my follow-up email, my phone buzzed with another message. It was from the hotel again. My heart jumped, but this time, not only with excitement. I felt nervous too. I opened the message carefully, wondering what new information they wanted to share. The email was longer than the first one, and the subject line said, "More details about your summer stay." That alone made my stomach tighten with uncertainty. In the message, the hotel explained more about the summer promotion. They wrote about free breakfast, discounts at local restaurants, and a special welcome gift for guests. They even said I could check in early if I arrived before noon. At first, these details sounded amazing, almost like a dream. But the more I read, the more unsure I became. Why were they offering so many extras? It was unusual for a hotel to give so much for such a low price, especially during a busy season. They also attached a few photos of the rooms and the pool. The pictures looked beautiful, almost too beautiful. The pool was empty, the rooms were spotless, and the lobby looked like something from a travel magazine. I stared at the photos for a long time, trying to decide if they were real. Part of me believed them, but another part whispered that it was strange to receive so much information so quickly. It felt as if they were trying too hard to impress me, and that only increased my doubt. The message ended with a line that confused me even more. "Please confirm your interest soon, as this offer may not last." The word soon made me feel pressured. I didn't like making rushed decisions, especially when money was involved. What if they were pushing me because something wasn't right? My mind filled with questions. Was this an amazing opportunity, or was it a trap? I wished I could ask someone for advice, but no one I knew had stayed there before. After reading the email twice, I put my phone down and took a deep breath. The situation felt more complicated than before. The first message had made me excited, but this second one made me suspicious. Still, I didn't want to assume the worst. Maybe the hotel was just enthusiastic and wanted new guests. I knew I needed to think carefully about my next step. Should I reply and ask more questions? Should I take the risk? Or should I walk away from the offer entirely? I didn't know yet, but I felt that whatever I did next would be very important. After thinking about the second email for almost an hour, I finally sat down at my desk to make a choice. My mind kept going back and forth between excitement and fear. Part of me wanted to believe the hotel was honest and truly offering a great deal. Another part of me worried that something was strange about the whole situation. But the more I thought about my summer plans, the more I realized how much I needed this trip. I didn't want my doubts to stop me from enjoying something good. I opened the emails again and read them slowly. Everything looked clear, and the hotel had answered quickly both times. If they wanted to trick me, they probably wouldn't give so many details. I reminded myself of the positive reviews I had seen on different websites. Many people had written about friendly staff and clean rooms. I decided to trust those reviews. At some point, I understood that no trip is perfect, but that shouldn't stop me from trying. Sometimes we have to take small risks to enjoy life. So I took a deep breath and wrote a short message saying I wanted to confirm the reservation. I felt my heart racing as I clicked send, but at the same time, I felt a strange kind of relief. I had made my decision. A few minutes later, the hotel replied again, thanking me and sending the booking confirmation. They also shared instructions for my arrival and a list of things I might want to bring. Reading that email made everything feel real, as if my trip had already started in my imagination. After closing my laptop, I sat back and smiled. I felt proud of myself for not letting fear take control. Instead, I chose hope and curiosity. I started thinking about what I would pack: comfortable clothes, sunscreen, a book for the beach, and maybe a camera to take pictures. The idea of relaxing near the ocean made me feel lighter. Even though the trip was still weeks away, I already felt excited. For the first time in a long while, I had something fun to wait for. That night, as I lay in bed, my mind filled with images of bright mornings, warm sand, and calm evenings. I didn't know exactly what would happen when I arrived at the hotel, but I decided not to worry anymore. I chose to believe that good things were coming. With that thought, I slowly closed my eyes, feeling happy and hopeful. My summer adventure was officially on the way, and I couldn't wait to see how it would unfold. The day of my trip finally arrived, and my excitement grew stronger with every mile. As the bus got closer to the town, I looked out the window and saw blue skies, tall palm trees, and small shops near the beach. Everything looked peaceful, and I felt my worries begin to fade. When the bus stopped, I grabbed my bag and walked toward the hotel, hoping it would look as good as the pictures. My heart beat fast, but this time with positive energy. When I reached the hotel entrance, I stopped for a moment, amazed. The building looked even nicer than the photos online. The walls were bright, the windows were clean, and flowers decorated the entire front area. A small fountain made a gentle sound that instantly relaxed me. I walked inside, and the lobby was cool and elegant. The receptionist greeted me with a warm smile and said my name before I even gave it. Right then, I knew I had made the right decision. The receptionist handed me the room key and welcomed me to the hotel. She explained everything clearly: breakfast hours, pool rules, and nearby places to visit. Then she gave me a small bag with a welcome gift inside, just like they promised in the email. I thanked her and took the elevator to my floor. When I opened the door to my room, my mouth almost dropped open. It was beautiful and bright, with soft colors and a perfect view of the ocean. I walked to the balcony and felt the warm breeze on my face. I explored every corner of the room, smiling like a kid. The bed was large and comfortable, the bathroom was clean and modern, and the mini fridge had cold water waiting for me. I sat on the bed for a moment, letting everything sink in. All the doubts I had before suddenly felt unnecessary. The hotel was exactly what they described, and maybe even better. I felt grateful that I had trusted my instinct and continued with the reservation despite my fears. Later that afternoon, I changed into comfortable clothes and went for a walk around the hotel. I saw the pool shining under the sun, families laughing, and guests relaxing with drinks. The atmosphere felt friendly and warm. As I stood there, looking at the ocean in the distance, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: pure happiness. My trip had just begun, and it was already unforgettable. I took a deep breath, smiled, and whispered to myself, "This is going to be a great summer."